Hello, all. Welcome to the Spicy Brain Podcast. I am your host, Megan, and my beautiful, gorgeous sister, Michelle, is probably fast asleep because it is currently 11:05 p.m., the night before this episode is due. Surprise, surprise, the dopamine has finally arrived because it turns out that nothing motivates an ADHD brain quite like a looming deadline and a little panic. I wanted to hop on today with a bit of a different kind of episode. Things have been a little wild over here. Brian's retiring and we're being forced to move. So there's a lot of unexpected changes. And honestly, life just feels really loud right now. This isn't one of our super polished, tightly structured episodes. This is more of a real-time check-in that we had before the break. This is kind of like one of those, hey, this is what life looks like when things aren't going really great. And, you still have to show up. That's the kind of conversation we're having. Living with ADHD isn't always cute or productive or inspirational. And sometimes it's just overwhelming. Sometimes it's exhausting. And sometimes it looks like recording a podcast intro late at night because that's when your brain finally says, okay, fine, let's do it. Or because you have a really amazing husband who reminded you, and thank God for his brain. Because otherwise nothing would get done. Okay, so today we're going to talk about feelings and about transition. And actually, I have no idea what the episode is completely about because honestly, deadlines. I haven't listened to the whole thing. So I'm hoping it's not terrible. And if it is, please forgive me. I hope we will do better next time. But just a reminder, guys, if you're in a season 2 where things are feeling messy or uncertain or maybe heavier than usual, just know you're not alone. This episode is definitely for you as well. And if you guys are having a great time, man, enjoy it. Because, we never know when the next one's going to come. So thanks, guys. Okay, let's get into it. Ask me again.
How you doing? Where are we on the ADHD scale today?
I think I'm on like the upward trajectory. Like I'm on the upswing. I was thinking about this the other day because like I had this like amazing green day with Genza, and I wonder if like too much green like can wipe you out. I don't know. I can't. I this is like a little thing I've been kind of wondering. Like if I don't know. Like I mean, also like we went like it was like a 4-hour trip. So like,
What happened in the trip? Like, where were you?
We were whale watching.
Oh, tell me more. What was that like?
It was like amazing because when I've like gotten together with Genza, I tend to want to like escape and and cancel, which she totally knows and is like ready for me to want to cancel. And she's always got like 12 things to tell me. So when it came to like my birthday dinner, I only wanted to cancel like, 30 minutes prior. So that felt like that was a big deal. And so this time it was like a little twinge of like, oh, maybe I should cancel. But then I was like, no, it's fine. You're going to be fine. You're just going to go and, So I felt like I'm getting better with that.
And the twinge of cancel is what? Like, what does it feel like to you? Or like, what's the concern? Or might be the concern?
I think it's like the amount of energy it's going to take for me to go and be there, which it's interesting because like I'm totally an extrovert, but then like this is why I wonder if I've got a little bit of like autism in me, because I've heard there's like a thing where people can be ADHD, like they can be like on the autistic scale, but then their ADHD masks their autism. Cause like once I'm somewhere, I love it. Like once I'm there, I am like, I get all the energy and I'm super happy, but getting me there is so hard sometimes. And so it feels like my brain just like wants to go, nope, wants to like quick quit. Like I'm just going to quick quit her and I'm going to just, cancel, or I'm just going to ghost her. Because like even canceling would take too much
but like But maybe like my question might be like, what is it is it like a fear of something happening, or is it just, I don't know what's coming, and so I don't know what to expect, or like, well, what might be saying the quick quit for you?
On Saturday, it was exhaustion. Like, cause I had already had like a pretty, I already had done something that day. Cause we had the interviews at the aquarium early. So I'd already been doing stuff for like 4 or 5 hours. And so I was like,
intense things too, right? You had to pay a lot of attention and
yeah. So I think that was part of it, of like, I think it was like, I got home and I was like, oh, I'm so tired. I'm so exhausted. And then like, I was trying to imagine myself putting energy for the next 4 hours into something, and like being super tired. Like, I was super tired a couple nights ago, like when I started Twitch streaming, and like I could feel myself like, okay, an hour into it, I'm like yawning, and I was like, okay, I'm not gonna. I was like, can't, but this one was more of like, yeah, I was worried that was what's gonna happen. I started worrying and kind of panicking a little bit, like, oh, I'm gonna be on a boat, I can't leave for 4 hours, and I'm gonna be tired, and then I'm gonna be like, I'm not going to be a fun person to be around, and then Jensen's never going to want to hang out with me again. I know, which is not true.
Okay, so it's really about like your behavior is going to change potentially in such a way that people are not going to accept you anymore.
Yeah.
Or your friendship will be, because you've had that happen before.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So it's not a fear that isn't based in some observation. It's just, okay.
Yeah, I think
I don't want people to see me in this moment because I'm not going to be at my best or something.
Yeah, and when I'm not at my best, people tend to kick me while I'm down.
Yeah.
And I don't think they mean to kick me while I'm down. It happens, like it just, I think people don't realize, like, and like all those shoulds and all of the justs, we talk about, like all of those like societal things, like they end up kicking you while you're down. And like, I'm already exhausted and I'm already tired. And it's like,
you have to feel really safe with somebody to put yourself in that vulnerable of a position.
Yeah. Like if it wasn't Jenza,
right,
I probably would have canceled.
Right.
Because I wouldn't have known.
I was thinking it like you're literally almost like laying on your back with your belly exposed.
Yeah.
In my mind, I'm thinking of like a dog or something, right? That like flips its little belly. Is
supposed to be a dog in this scenario, Michelle?
You're the dog.
I'm the dog. I am the dog. It's totally true. Yeah. I am the Daisy. I'm Daisy.
You're the Daisy. So like you're flipped over on your belly and you're like, I just need to be my belly rubbed.
Yeah.
And I'm exhausted. And then somebody's going to be like, well, you're not laying correctly.
Yeah. Cause like people have opinions about this shit. And I'm like, why do you have opinions about how I should act? But then like, I watch, like we were watching Selling Sunset, yesterday. And I was just like, wow, people have opinions about how their friends should act. And it's like, you don't get to tell me how I'm going to act or react to things. All you can do is respond and decide like if you want to be a part of my life or not. Or if you want me in your life, I should say, so it's like, I don't know. It's just, people have so many opinions about how I should be, and have always had opinions about how I should be. It's
and
wild.
How everyone should be.
Yeah.
Right. So how many people, not just ADHD, are masking who they are? I loved, our producer Heather, who we love. Heather. Hi Heather. She's definitely got some other things going on, so she hasn't been as big a part of the show recently, but is it a show, is it a podcast, I don't know, whatever, part of the the planning of things at the moment. But I remember her telling me the other day, she's like, Michelle, you can't manipulate the outcome. And she was speaking about me, in my relationship of like trying to figure out, with this other person, like, do I tell them what I'm really feeling or how things are really going, because it's not a convenient time to do it, right? Whenever that is or whatever. And I would think that that would sort of map on to this scenario of like, if you're trying to change who you are so that everything will be okay, right, then you're sort of manipulating the outcome, and then you're not really that person. So then, you know, that can't be a true friendship if they can't kind of accept all the versions of yourself, right, in some way.
Yeah,
or maybe they're not a bosom friend. They're not like a, you know, coming into your house kind of friend. They're just kind of out in the yard and sort of staying out there outside the fence or something. But
yeah, because like what that's bringing up is like why I wish when I was a kid that Dad would have just said, you don't have to change who you are to be friends with people. I know he was trying to help in big giant air quotes, but the lesson that I learned, like he was the fix it Frank, you know, he was fix it Frank. And he was like, well, if we just, you know, if you just like brush your hair more, or if you just, you know, wear cuter clothes or like nicer shoes, or, you know, if you just change you, then maybe people will, that was the lesson I learned. I learned the lesson, like, if you just change yourself, then you can have friends. And so I've done that, actually. I think I imprinted that onto myself. Like I just need to change myself. Cause I did, I found that like, if I changed myself, I had success as opposed to,
but it doesn't last very long, right? Because
because
you can't be somebody else. No.
And like, remember we were talking about, our sweet friend who's in like 6th or 7th grade. And I was saying, you know, you were saying like he's ADHD and doesn't have many friends. And I'm like, yeah, because like the candidate pool is so small. Yeah. Like the candidate pool of 6th grade, 7th grade of school is like so tiny. Because like, of the candidates at my school when I was younger, there was not really anybody there who I jived with. But like in the candidate pool of the world, like there's going to be somebody. Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to meet a Genza who we were like kind of like laughing at ourselves because like, you know, we both knew in undergrad that we both loved each other. We're like, wow, that's such a cool person. And it never occurred to us that like, hey, we should like be friends outside of the like 6 months that we spent together, you know, like, we should hang like, cause neither one of us knew how to do it at that time. Right. So, you know, but
it is a funny thing too, to kind of like start dating your friend. I mean, not dating in like a romantic sense, but it's like, when is it that you like say those things like, oh, you're a bestie, or you're like my friend, you know, like that is that there's that like vulnerability that you have to have at some point to be like, hey, you mean a lot to me in my life. Yeah. And this is important. I want to spend what extra time I have. I want some of it devoted to you.
Right. Yeah. And like, I think when I was younger, I so desperately wanted a best friend that I kind of put all my eggs into one person and was like, you're it. You're the best friend. And like,
you get that
good
role.
luck, you know, and it was not helpful or useful, you know? And so it's like this idea that like, there's just one best friend. I remember that like, you know, you can't have like more than one best friend. Cause like, otherwise it's like, no, but you could have really good friends. Like, you know, it's like,
and your other friends should not be envious of your other ones if they're good friends, right? Yeah. If they're really solid friends. You know, it's interesting. They don't really use the from what I've heard from like my staff who are like in their 20s and early, you know, like 18, 19, 20, they don't really use the term best friend anymore.
That was such an 80s thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, all the 80s shows had like, you know, you had what was that one with the high school with like Zach and Kelly. And like they had
Saved by the Bell,
right? Yes. They had like their best friends, you know, and it's like there's only one person who's your best friend,
right? Yeah, and there's jealousy if there's, you know,
other people coming in, Oh, Michelle, that was sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying that was like something that happened with Genza. I was like, her husband had like a big birthday. And I was telling her, I'm like, you know, it's so funny. Like in the past, I would have been super like bummed and like almost jealous that like I wasn't invited to his birthday. And I was like, it's so lovely to like, I was like, no, this is about him. And like,
Yeah.
and she was telling me all about it. And I was like, yeah, that's why, like, I'm not, I'm not at all jealous that like I couldn't come to his birthday because it was his birthday, and it was like
Right.
his buddies. And I just was so happy that they had a great time. And like, that's the first time that I've really just like been secure enough in like my relationship with somebody to not, um, to not freak out.
Yeah. Oh, I can see the emotion on your face right now. Feel
Yeah.
it. That's so beautiful. And also that I think she has such good boundaries,
Yeah.
right? Because sometimes I think that's the other piece is that, it gets unclear or enmeshed very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like someone who has those clear boundaries of like, here's what I need and here's where you fit in my life at this moment. And that's okay. Is beautiful.
Yeah. It's like we can be really good buddies and not
And
talk
not have to have our entire lives
enmeshed.
enmeshed. Yeah, as well.
Like we don't have to be spending every weekend together, to be best buddies.
Yes. And it's interesting because I think I was thinking about this in terms of my friends and the things that where that's led me over the years and not having, because I grew up in an enmeshed way of thinking, I think is how I would say it. It's been tough for me to be like, oh, this person's for this, but not for that. And I think that's actually really a good, healthy thing to say, this person is wonderful to be present with me and to be excited for me and to be on journeys with me, but they're not the person I'm going to go to if I'm feeling sad necessarily.
Yeah.
Right. Because maybe that's harder for them to kind of make space for me in those moments. But that really has nothing to do with me. That has more to do with them. Right. But that's okay.
Yeah.
Right. And it doesn't mean they're not a good friend. It just means that maybe they also fit into something, but also looking for that, like being like, it's okay to look for people who can fit more than one, kind of set of things as well. And I feel like I've really been more cautious is the wrong word, but selective of like, who am I going to put my time into?
Yeah.
Like my fair weather friends still like amazing and great. But that's going to be a lot less energy I'm going to put into them and their life if it's not reciprocated. Right. And I think I've started to kind of like think about that too in my 50s now.
I heard a thing. I was listening to this expert who was talking about loneliness and especially with ADHD people. And they were saying that like, back in the day before cell phones and before the internet, if you needed help, like if you needed something, like you might go to your neighbor and say, hey, like, do you have a recipe for this? Or do you have, like you would ask for help more. And like one of the things that we don't do is because we're on the phone and we're on internet for so long, we don't ask for help as much. So like our community has gotten a lot smaller. And so whether or not like, even the same thing with like, prior to you'd have churches where there's a whole issue of like, we're not going to go into like why churches are not good, but like there's a whole thing of like, there's a lot of trauma around church. But the one thing that it did do is that it did provide people a place to go, a space, a physical space to meet on a weekly basis. And so you would have your neighbors and you would have your church friends and you would have your work buddies. But now we don't even like have work buddies because we're all working from home a lot of times. So, you would have all of these like different people that you could connect with or, that weren't necessarily like your core people.
Right.
But that you could still get support and care from those people in different ways. Like, right. If you needed like, childcare, like you might be able to ask your neighbor, hey, can you watch the kid for just a few minutes while I go do this thing, or
exactly.
So we had this like community that we just don't have anymore. And I think it's like, that's what I'm realizing, like, is that when you lower the number of people in your community, you really put a lot of strain on the one or two people in your life that, that really do care about you, but like, it's really easy to put strain on them.
Oh yeah. I mean, it was a huge loss when you guys moved to California for me, right? I mean, because it was you and Brian were just like part of the fabric of the whole piece, right? And then when you lose one part of it, you realize like, oh, I'm actually tethered to this other person because of Megan. And now I've lost that little thread too, potentially, right? If you don't really work at it. So I agree. I think you can't underestimate how the interconnection, as long as it's healthy, right?
Yeah.
Like it's not suffocating you, how important that is in the day to day.
Like I never would have thought of like, being neighbors with people. It never really occurred to me like, oh, I should go say hi to them. But like being in this military community, I've just been like kind of reaching out a little bit more to people, or like whenever I see people, like I try to talk to them. And like my neighbor next door, it's like when she first got here, I was just like, I zeroed in. I was like, we're going to invite you and
we're going to welcome you.
We're going to welcome you and like get to know people. And
we grew up in Arizona where things were really spread out. So, I mean, our nearest neighbor, not that we had a regular city block kind of thing, but like there was really only like 4 people on a block. The parcels of land were quite big. And so it wasn't like you in it and you're really far back. Like the houses were not right next to the road. There's not like a sidewalk you would walk up. So, I mean, we didn't really get used to that, I think, concept.
Yeah. Of like talking to people.
Even though you did have neighbor friends, which I was super jealous of because mine was 4 blocks away, which ended up being like almost half a mile.
Yeah.
In our neighborhood. But I think, depending where you live, you might have more of this.
Right.
But I do think people are less likely to now too. But certain,
100%.
I think certain areas of the country is still like that, right? Certain small towns, it's still like that. But, when you're out in the bigger cities or when you're maybe in a more rural area where things are really far apart, you're right. There's nothing necessarily bringing people together.
Yeah.
But the internet, right?
Yeah. Well, that's why I'm like forcing myself to say hi to people when we're walking with the dogs. Like this neighbor had stopped by one day to like bring, she had like extra lettuce randomly. Okay. So she brings it by and then, probably like a month later, I see her just recently and I was like with the dogs and I just said hi and, I was like, is it okay if the dogs come and say hi? And she's like, yes, of course, of course. And so we started talking for a few minutes and I don't know, it popped into my head the other day. I was like, I really should just like stop by her house and be like, it was lovely to chat with you. And I just wanted to say hi again, you know? And like, but I wouldn't have thought to do that until recently.
One of the things I started doing was after I would see somebody, I would just go and drop a little card or note in the mailbox. Like I wouldn't mail it, but I would just go drop it if I could, right? Like if it's a place that has a mailbox, I would just go drop a little like, so good to like connect, blah, blah, blah. And then I would like put my address on it too. So they knew where I was. But it's been, and the concept of a Christmas card or something that you're sending out. I know you're really good at like kind of texting people, chatting people periodically, like you set reminders oftentimes for yourself to just so you don't forget to say hi. But yeah, I agree. I think it's those little like follow up, that next little reach out kind of can help solidify something, I think, or at least start the potential for a connection.
I know this is like the first year that Brian and I actually got cards for his family. And like, he wanted to get cards for his family and I was like, let's do it, And so we put together a bunch of cards and sent them out. And it's like reminding me, I'm like, it would be kind of cool to like do this more often. Like, because there are people who send me stuff and I just don't make the time to reciprocate. And, how easy would it be to like put together a couple pictures of stupid dogs, and like, or like Monterey or something and just be like, hey, this is where we're at, and I don't know, even just like a postcard. Probably a postcard is what I need to be doing. Just send a postcard.
And they have those services now where you can make the postcard and like put all your addresses in and you don't even have to do it. Yeah.
That's cool. But see, I would want to like, I always want to like do something kind of personal, like a handwritten, like something, but like, I don't need to do that. I could just also send stuff to people and be like, hey, I love you, thinking about you.
Yes. At least a starting point, right?
Yeah.
At least it would get done, probably, or it might get done, right? I mean,
what are you saying, Michelle? Are you saying
I'm saying all of us are very busy in life.
No, we're just very distracted. I realize I'm not that busy. I'm just super distracted. That's what I've realized.
You're busy in your mind. You're busy in your mind.
I very much am.
For sure. Well, thank you so much for talking to me about this. I'm always curious about friendships and how you're navigating that. And I like the idea of like this whole idea of a green task being something that is beautiful, but also maybe to be aware the next day or 2 days you might be a bit depleted, and that might be okay.
Yeah, because I wonder, as we were talking about it, I wonder if it's the fact that like I did 2 green tasks in a row.
Yeah.
But then I also did kind of a third because then she and I ended up watching a cheesy Christmas movie, which I think you would love. It's the one on Amazon with Michelle Pfeiffer.
Oh, yes.
So it ended up being like a full day of green. And
yeah. And we did do that book that was like, your brain is not broken. Like all green all day isn't good either. Like, no. So
yeah, I probably should have said like, hey, let's like, if I have the aquarium something, then maybe I should do the following day.
Or the following weekend even.
Yeah. But see, she only had that weekend. And I was like, I know if I don't get her this weekend.
But sometimes you just got to lay it all in the field.
Yeah.
Or
but see, this is the thing is like, in a weird way, like it was so
ocean.
magical, Michelle. It was like,
yeah,
it was like I listened to myself on some. So like I think two things. Listening to myself, like my friend's available right now, and we just gotta go. And so we went and like had a great time and like saw 6 humpback whales and like over 200 dolphins, and we saw this northern whale dolphin that like you hear the captain, he's like, oh my gosh, he's like freaking out. He's like, we never gonna see them. And then like the naturalist is like, you guys, like seriously, it's rare that I'm speechless, but like this is so unbelievably amazing. Like
so
honestly,
cool.
You guys got a better tour than the morning ship went, and it was like we were supposed to, and Jen's like, I always go in the morning. That's usually when the better thing is, but like you can come, like it's like anytime you can come, and it's gonna be, you never know. That's the thing. You never know, right? So this is like, it was all these amazing things, but then also like the come down of that. Maybe it's okay that like I just need to, like I'm saying it right, like I'm getting excited, and it's like like you have to come down off of it,
and not beat yourself up for
and
coming
not
down
beat yourself
of.
up.
That's the part that's hard, right?
Well,
I want to have that level of energy all the time, but that's just not realistic.
It's not realistic. No.
Especially like with you, it's like you really do have to let your body just
rest.
Kind of rest, yeah.
Because like I want to do all these things, and it's just like, why does my body?
But think about it, like
do that?
It's such a beautiful memory.
It is.
And like, I don't think you're going to forget that one.
No, because Michelle, there were like, there were dolphins. Like they were swimming under the boat because there's like a rip tide that occurs under the boat. So you watched these like dolphins swimming towards the boat. Wow. And I was like, whoa, they're swimming because they know if like the boat, they're going to get under the rip tide and they're going to be able to swim and do all whatever. It was unbelievable, Michelle. When I tell you, like, unbelievable.
Worth it then. Green task that was worth it. Worth the come down.
And the coolest part is like all the physical therapy I've been doing. Like I was like, it was bumpy and, we were going back and forth. And like my abdomens were like, they were just keeping me upright. And my physical therapist would have been so proud. I was like, look at me. I'm
amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. Well, thank you for sharing with us.
I appreciate it.
All right. Love you.
I love you too.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for listening to the Spicy Brain Podcast, brought to you by Spicy Brain Studios. We're really glad you were here today with us. This is your friendly reminder to go drink some water, unclench your jaw or your butt cheeks, and remember that your brain is not broken. Michelle and I will be back next week with a full episode, fully rested and ready. And if my ADHD brain can get it together, we might be celebrating our 100th episode. Maybe with a little look back, or maybe with just whatever it ends up being. Either way, we'll see you next time. So remember to stay curious and joyful with a whole lot of radical acceptance. High kick.